All right, thanks for meeting me with Fabio. Meeting with me. All
Happy
right,
to be
so
here, Felix.
so we're gonna be talking about I guess a change that you want to go through, or that either you feel like or that you want to do but you haven't done. Like, do you think of anything like a behavior change or a lifestyle change that
Yeah.
comes to mind?
So, I guess the biggest thing that comes to mind right now is living a healthier lifestyle.
Okay. So, what do you mean by healthier lifestyle?
By healthier lifestyle, I guess I mean like just being more physically active, sleeping better, and eating better.
Eating better. You feel like you don't do that right now?
I feel like I'm kind of getting better about it. Like in the past, I wasn't too good about it. Like in the past, I feel like as a part of like maybe like the UIC track and field team when I was a part of it, I would eat really bad just because I was told that I needed to gain weight. So I guess going on top of that, gaining weight for track to get stronger, and also like with school and stuff, like sleeping patterns kind of get messed up. Especially like for me, I kind of get stressed out and I don't sleep as well as I usually do.
Okay.
And I've been kind of on and off with like physical activity. Recently it's been getting better. I've been getting a little bit more consistent just because time management has been kind of getting a little bit better for me, and like the flow of the semesters. I guess I'm getting to know what the flow of the semester is like. Like how my classes are structured,
Okay.
and like due dates and whatnot. So
Okay, so I guess one of your biggest factors would be just your school schedule and how the way it's set up. Is it like you're like overwhelmed with all your workload, or
maybe not so much overwhelmed. I feel like at times, like there's a good balance between like when I have exams and when I have homework. But like lately, like maybe like week 12, week 11, we had, at least I had like 5 exams in 1 week, and it was crazy.
Yeah.
And that on top of school, or sorry, on top of work, it gets kind of difficult, when you're trying to work, 15, 20 hours a week, and also maintaining, like being a full-time student, it gets crazy to handle. But when there's like, those little breaks, or when you have your exams like spread apart, that makes things a little bit easier.
Okay.
But it's just like those times when like everything kind of piles up is like when it gets hard.
Okay, so like, so from what you're saying, I guess you would your physical fitness or physical health or well-being isn't where you want it to be because you make, I guess, school and work more of a priority than that right now at the moment. Okay.
Yeah, I would say that exactly.
Okay.
So like at times, like I have to stay up late. I get home from work like around like 8:39, and by that time I'm pretty drained. I went to class all day. I have work right after. I get home at like 8:39, and by that time it's like, okay, well, what do I gotta do now? I gotta do homework. I gotta study for a quiz. I gotta study for an exam. I have a paper due, a research paper. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, it kind of gets crazy at times, and like having that stuff, after work, it gets a little stressful, and that kind of leads to me having like bad sleeping patterns, or maybe not enough time to be physically active.
Okay.
As much as I would like to be.
Yeah. So does I guess the lack of your being physically active affect your schoolwork or your work life at all?
I don't think it affects it at all. I feel like just being physically active for me, it makes me feel better. I mean, like it makes me feel like mentally and emotionally just like well. I feel good going into things, and it's been like a good stress relief for me. Okay. And like I mentioned, I was a part of the USC track and field team, so like that being physically active with that, my sophomore and junior year, I was kind of like forced to be physically active, whereas now it's kind of more like voluntary. It's more like habitual. Where it's kind of like I have to like go out and actually do it, where it's not like I have a scheduled practice where I have to be at.
Yeah. So when you were on the track team, it was a lot easier to be physically active because you had like an actual schedule you had to follow, and because I guess you had to meet like a certain day, you were expected to be in a certain shape by then.
Exactly.
Okay.
So I had to be at practice like every like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or we had lifts, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, practice Tuesday, Thursday, and then like during the season, the spring semester, we have meets every weekend.
Yeah.
So like that can get kind of crazy as a student athlete.
Yeah.
And that's actually I guess one of the things I had to give up. I not really necessarily because I wanted to live a healthy lifestyle, but just for like personal goals for like post grad life, I guess.
Yeah. So you're saying you gave up like being a student athlete in order to focus more on your grades? Is that what you're saying?
A little bit. So maybe kind of like being able to focus on my grades and being able to focus on myself, like my well being,
Okay.
and like kind of where I'm going with like my life right now. You know, I'm a senior.
Like
I
your
should
career,
be career path exactly.
Okay.
So I should be graduating next fall. Like, you know, what am I doing to take the necessary steps to
Okay.
kind of
Okay.
prepare myself for that?
If we can we just go back and talk about when you were a student athlete? You said that you were really crammed for time and you were more organized but you were still able to get workouts in because you had to.
Yeah.
What made it so that you were able to do both, like both
Yeah.
work out and both be on top of your school at the same time when you were a student athlete?
I feel like as a student athlete, they kind of give you structure. They put like structure into your life. You know, you have to follow the schedule. You have the schedule that you're following on a daily or on a weekly basis, monthly basis. You know, so like with that, you're gonna go into like a week knowing like, oh, okay, you know, I have class. You know, I have class from like 9 to 11, practice from like 11 to 2, and then class again from like 3 to 5. And then by that time, like, you know, I wasn't working either, so I didn't have that time commitment on my hands. So it was a little bit easier to kind of, you know, like focus on my grades, focus on my sleeping habits, and like, you know, focus on my performance, you know, because I wanted to be the best athlete I could be.
Yeah. Okay.
Whereas like now I'm not a part of track and field, but I picked up another, I guess, commitment as in like working at Athletico as a rehab kid.
So and that like substitutes for like
substitute for the track, exactly.
the track and field.
So the thing with track is like I mentioned, like, you know, I was physically active, I was fit, but I was overweight. I was like 235 pounds. I've never been that heavy before in my life. You know, it was because I wanted to gain weight. I wanted to get stronger, and it was all for, you know, performance goals, all for, you know, track and field. And at that point, I wasn't too happy with myself because I had, like, you know, gained so much weight.
Yeah.
But, you know, it was kind of necessary in order for my sport, you know, because the exact thing I do was throws, so like discus, hammer, shot. So in order to, you know, perform well in that, you want to be strong. So I had to gain that weight. Then it kind of like, you know, going back to like the healthy lifestyle, like I didn't really feel comfortable being, you know, like as heavy as I was, even though like I was, you know, probably the strongest I've ever been.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I didn't feel like myself almost.
Okay. So you would say more so that you want to be healthier instead of just more physically active, because you were physically active when you were a student athlete, but it doesn't seem like you were like healthy and it wasn't going towards your goals. But so the change I guess you want to make is to be more healthy and then have like physically fit the way you want to be.
Yeah, so like, you know, kind of achieve the physical fitness that I want to achieve, you know.
And what is that, if you mind?
So yeah, I guess maybe you know, everyone has like their idea of like their perfect body, you know. So, but I guess just, you know, kind of like getting back to like, you know, as lean as I was in the past, you know, not being as heavy as I was. And I guess another thing that has to do with that is like kind of so like my father, he's hypertensive, you know, so he's high blood pressure, and he's also, I think he told me that he's like pre-diabetic is what his doctor told him. So I guess like kind of thinking of that, you know, like genetics and stuff, like it should kind of maybe come down to me. So I kind of want to like, you know, like do my best to work out to, you know, to like help, you know, like, because I'm like pre-hypertensive, like almost pre-hypertensive, so I kind of want to prepare for that and work out in order to, you know, fight those
to not like, I guess, follow in those footsteps like as your dad, in a way. Okay. That totally makes sense. So what are some ways you think that just looking back when you were a student athlete, like what were some times where you felt that it was like way too difficult, but you were still able to like get your workout in and still maintain that routine? Like what is something you feel like you can adapt from then until now in your life?
Okay, so maybe kind of like having that structure again. Like that structure was really nice. Having that set schedule was great because, you know, it kind of forced me to do things, and it kind of it's good knowing that, you know, you have a set schedule for the day. So it's like a class, workout, class, you know, and so on. Okay. So I guess having that helps, you know, to like live a healthier lifestyle. Okay. And then I guess another thing was I was like meal prepping a lot during that time, and like I wasn't meal prepping as much as I would like to last semester, but it's gotten a little bit better this semester. I'm eating a little bit cleaner and just trying to, I guess, just like burn or like I guess lose some weight a little bit, you know, because I don't want to be too heavy. Let's say, you know, just kind of prevent those hypertensive.
Okay. Yeah, I see where you're coming from. I did your teammates at that time affect the way you worked out? And if so, like, is there anyone, I guess, in your life now that has a similar effect on you that you feel like you can I guess work out with, or have someone like just to motivate you to try to?
Yeah, for sure.
be
I
more
guess
active?
like that like weight room like persona, I guess. Like speaking of my teammates, you know, like they were like really nice and everything, you know. They were always like trying to push you to do your best, you know, trying to get as strong as you can. And I guess like one person that kind of reminds me of that right now is like my roommate Michael.
Okay.
And, you know, he's like, you know, very fit. He's always on top of his game.
Yeah.
And kind of seeing him, you know, like, you know, being on top of everything kind of makes me want to be on top of everything.
Okay. Yeah.
So I kind of like his work ethic kind of like rubs off on me almost in a way. Kind of like seeing him, like, you know, how hard he works and stuff, and it's like, all right, well, cool, you know.
Yeah.
Like I kind of have to have like, you know, some sort of structure. I want to be a little bit more physically active and just, you know, feel better.
Yeah. Have you talked to Michael about that? Like maybe you guys go work out together sometimes.
Yeah. So, I mean, we've worked out maybe a couple of times, but for the most part, like, our schedules are kind of off.
Oh, okay.
So like we never really worked out like that. But you know, if I did have like that chance, then why not? You know, I would definitely, you know, I wouldn't mind it. It would be nice to kind of see, you know, like a different perspective of like, you know, being physically fit and like living a healthier lifestyle.
Okay. Would you ever consider maybe joining like a rec league outside of school? Like say for I don't know, like what sport do you like?
Okay, so a couple of sports that I enjoy would be like basketball, football, and maybe even some like ultimate frisbee, because it kind of brings me back to like high school cross country days.
That sounds like fun. But have you thought about probably joining a rec league?
Yeah, thinking about maybe joining a rec league. I mean, I've kind of like the whole time management thing again. It's like, you know, I kind of want to focus on, you know, like grades and like, you know, like living like a good healthy life, like getting my sleep in and not being so stressed out all the time.
Okay.
And like eating well and like being physically active. And I guess, you know, it would help, you know, the physical activity and whatnot. But it's just like that time commitment, you know, it's just something I don't have.
Okay. So if you were to list, I guess, the importance of like, I guess those three things, your education and then your sleeping pattern and then your physical fitness or physical health, how would you order them?
Those three, I would probably say education, physical fitness, and then sleeping patterns.
And then your sleeping patterns?
Yeah, sleeping patterns. So my sleep is like kind of like always a thing that gets put to the end.
Okay.
Which kind of sucks. Like for example, like last night I went to bed at 3 a.m. You know, I was up studying for this exam all night, and I think it went pretty well. But it's just, you know, like I said, I always put sleeping like as like my last priority. And it's probably not like the best thing. So I guess that's like one thing I really gotta focus on.
Okay.
But it just kind of comes back to like the whole time management, you know, having to come home after work and like, you know, having to like eat or maybe even getting a workout and then coming home like super late and having to do homework stuff. And it's like, okay, well, like I'm gonna do this homework and there's no way I'm gonna get to bed before 12.
Yeah.
So
I can see that, especially being a college student and a senior where you're having multiple classes. Yeah. One thing I was gonna ask you, is there anything throughout the day where you feel like you maybe can like either cut out or maybe spend less time doing in order to maybe make a bigger gap in your schedule to work out?
Definitely. So a couple things. One thing in particular, it would be probably stop playing so many video games.
Yeah.
Because this year, also speaking on my roommate Michael, he's very physically fit, but at the same time he's also huge into video games.
Okay.
And like this year was probably the year that I've kind of got back into playing video games, and that's where a lot of my time is gone, which probably isn't like the best way, like the best thing to put my time towards, you know, because it kind of kills productivity and it's just kind of like a waste of time. Even though, you know, I'm enjoying it, I'm having fun, you know, it's cool, it's all fun and games and whatnot.
Yeah.
But, you know, like I could use that time to, you know, maybe focus on my sleeping patterns. I could, you know, maybe, I guess, you know, catch a workout or something, you know, instead of playing video games. So I guess that's something that I could cut out.
Okay.
You know, maybe just stop playing so much, or maybe even, you know, at times everyone kind of tends to, you know, kind of be distracted sometimes. You know, you'll sit, you'll be sitting here and you'll like go on your phone and you'll go on social media, or you go on YouTube or you go on like, whatever. It's just looking at memes and you kind of get stuck there for hours.
Yeah.
You'll be on Twitter like just scrolling for like 30 minutes and you won't even know it, or maybe like an hour.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like those little time killers. Like they're really sneaky and people don't really kind of realize it. But like if you could maybe utilize those in a better way, then it would definitely be beneficial for me in the long run.
Okay, yeah, I see that. If it's something that I do, if you don't mind me sharing this, is that I actually deleted all of my social media apps besides like one throughout this semester, and I feel like that's helped me out a lot. So like just like how you explained it, it does save me a lot of time. So like the time I would be spending on that, I actually put it towards like either like something that I feel like would be more productive. Would you ever consider doing that?
Yeah, so I actually did consider doing that. I believe it was my sophomore year. I think I got rid of Twitter for like maybe like 2 days.
2 days.
I didn't last too long. But I would definitely try to do it again because I mean I don't really even use Twitter. I mean I do use it, but I just go on it to kind of keep up with friends, and that's basically all I use it for. Unlike Snapchat where I'll actually talk to people through Snapchat, but I don't know. I guess like I would definitely consider like deleting them just so I can have more time in my hands. Okay. Maybe even like selling my PS4. I stop playing so many video games. Or maybe not that, but yeah. So I would definitely consider maybe doing it in the future and trying to kind of implement that, and see like where it goes from there and like how well it works for me.
Okay, that makes sense. So like, let's go back to like what your main goal is, like to be. Was it to be physically fit or just be healthy overall?
Just be healthy overall. Kind of like just like good like emotional well-being, like good mental, like a good state of mind. It's hard to do those things when you have like school and stuff. It's so stressful, and like that that kind of leads to like my bad sleeping patterns, and it kind of leads to like me having to skip workouts because I have to study, which is something that happened to me the fall semester of 2017. I didn't even lift at all. So like I just recently quit the track team, right? And I started the fall semester, and I worked out like consistently over the summer. I was doing well, and then starting this semester, like as the course load kind of got heavier, and as like work kind of piled up, and they also gave me more hours at work. So like, oh, we need you to work more hours, and I was like, sure. So like with that and school, it's just hard to kind of like have that time to be to be physically active. It's hard to make that time hard to find that time to go to the gym and get that workout in. And I feel like I've done like a little bit of a better job. This semester I've been a tiny bit more consistent, which is nice, and it's kind of like it's making me happy, because like knowing that I'm going down like a better road than I was before.
Yeah.
So
that's good. So in terms of like, I know as a Kinesis major, you probably know this too, is once you start, I guess, that pattern of like eating healthy and being more active and sleeping on the regular, you start getting into the cycle, and it just like kind of snowballs from there.
Yeah.
So is there anything I guess you would change in your diet, since you said that you normally put your sleeping pattern at the end?
Yeah.
So maybe you can. Is there anything in your diet that you feel like you would change or improve on?
Yeah. I feel like just specifically my eating patterns are like not too bad. If I meal prep like for the week, then everything goes pretty well. But if I don't get to meal prep, if I miss that like my meal prep day, like Sunday or Monday, then that's when it becomes an issue, because then I'm stuck like with the entire week not having time to like meal prep, because I have the most time on Sundays or Mondays, right? Because I work throughout the week. So it's like if I don't meal prep, then I'm like pretty screwed, for the week, because I won't have anything to eat. That kind of leads to me having to like eat out, or even like kind of choose those unhealthy alternatives. But like if I get that meal prep, and if I prepare myself, and if I get the ingredients, if I go to the grocery shop or grocery store and get everything I need and make the meal preps, then like it goes pretty well. I guess one thing that I would like to improve on is maybe like my like variety of meal, like food that I eat, because like it's like the same thing over and over. But and maybe also just cutting out like eating like fast food sometimes, you know, because like you know it's just fast. You know, you get out of the library and it's okay. Let's go to the Express Grill. Let's get a cheeseburger.
Yeah.
And it's like it's convenient too. It's on the way home, and I guess you know trying to stop those little like you know bad decisions.
So that would help you out a lot.
I think that would help, yeah, for sure.
That's good. So just like recap it all. So you want to change your overall like I guess physical well being. So like change your physical activity, probably get a little bit more sleep in if you can, and then also like your clean up your diet for when those times. Like, even though you sound like you're doing a pretty good job, it's just when those times when everything piles on each other, that it's a little bit difficult to stay on track. Okay. So talking about all that, is it okay if I suggest a couple of changes maybe you can take into consideration? So like you said, maybe you can go ahead and work out with Michael, your roommate, a couple like 1 or 2 times a week, and just have that starting off as like a set, like just, hey, is it okay if I work out with you this day? I know your schedules don't really line up too much, but just having 1 day a week where you're kind of obligated, you made that commitment where he's gonna be counting on you, and then you're kind of counting on him.
Yeah.
Should be willing to do that.
Yeah, that actually sounds like a good idea because in that case, I'd like you know it'd make me want to go, and make me want to work out. Because you know, like you said, he's kind of relying on me, and if I'm making him change the schedule, it's like, well, now I have to go.
Yeah.
So I mean, it would definitely be like a good change of pace and kind of you know see what he does, and like you know that's different from what I do, and kind of learn a couple things, you know. So.
Okay, and then would you also like maybe consider for like I don't know, next semester or so to cut back a little bit on your school load, or maybe cut back a little bit on the hours you're getting at work?
Yeah. So actually, that is one thing that I have done. Recently, actually, I guess maybe like last week at work, we actually got a new schedule, or maybe it was 2 weeks ago. I don't remember, but I was working about like 20 hours a week, and if I would pick up Saturdays, it would be like 25. So that's kind of a lot. And I kind of told them, I was like, hey, you know, I'm getting a lot of hours. It's kind of getting a little hard on me, you know, to maintain everything outside of work, you know, like especially because like I said, education is like my number 1 priority right now. Okay. So I was like, hey, I need to kind of lessen up on the hours, and I did. So like I got down to like 10 to 12, so which is really nice, and has definitely helped me, you know, kind of take these steps to living, you know, a healthy lifestyle and kind of focusing on my physical well-being and mental well-being.
That's good. That's good to hear. And then in terms of your like nutrition and your diet, you said you meal prep. Would you ever consider, I guess, leaving one specific day, like maybe the same day you set that day to work out with your roommate, like either before or after you work out with him to like meal prep then for like the week? Would you consider that? Yeah,
for sure. It kind of just depends on like you know what time you work out and like what time we get home, or like what time, you know, like what time of the day it is, because like meal prepping kind of is very time consuming. You know, it takes a good like 2 hours to kind of sit there and have to cook all this food.
Yeah.
You know, for an entire week, it gets a little crazy. So, but I would definitely consider it. Maybe it would kind of like work out and maybe flow a little bit easier. You know, kind of having that workout and then you know meal prepping afterwards.
Okay. I know you said this a couple times, but you keep saying that you'll consider it. What would be like the actual step to make you actually go from considering to actually changing it?
To actually changing it?
Yeah, to actually committing and doing it.
Yeah, so maybe like, are you referring to like working out with Michael or like?
Yeah, either or.
Yeah, so maybe actually reaching out to him and be like, hey, what days like can we work out together? Like how are our schedules lining up? And like kind of seeing, you know, how. You know, like what can work for us, and then I mean, if it works, then I would definitely do it. You know, for sure.
Like, would you think about maybe consider like reaching out to him later this week or even this weekend?
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, I mean, he's like I say possibly because he's not here for the weekend. Oh. But when he comes back, oh yeah, for sure.
For sure. Okay, that's good. And then if just going back to like I guess like when you were on the track team. I guess working out with Michael, and then that would be kind of similar to where like you had like that atmosphere of having someone to like push you. I feel like that would be very beneficial for you. in terms of that.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like that's actually kind of like one thing I kind of lack in the gym is kind of having like someone there to kind of like help me out, maybe like kind of push me or maybe even give me little tips or
Yeah.
just to kind of be there to motivate me, and also like for like spotting purposes and stuff like that, kind of be able to put on that heavy weight
Yeah.
and not be afraid to like fail because I have someone kind of watching my back.
Okay, that's good. And then in terms of I guess your free time, you said you play video games. Would you ever like what can you do in order to change that to free up more of your time?
Yeah, for sure. I would say maybe uninstalling the game, Fortnite.
Okay.
Also, I mean, I guess it's kind of hard to avoid the video game thing because like there's just like it's just there. You get home and it's sometimes your roommates are playing. And it's like, okay, well, I guess I'm just gonna watch as I study, and
Okay.
it kind of ends up leading to I'm gonna play. But I guess the best thing I could do is just kind of being like persistent and being like, I'm not gonna play today. Like I'm not gonna play today, or I'm just not gonna turn the TV on today. I'm just not gonna turn the PS4 on.
Yeah.
Just so it doesn't get to that point where I get stuck playing video games for like an hour or two.
Okay. And then just one other thing. What like you said in the summer you were more consistent with your workouts. What exactly do you remember doing then that made it easier for you to stay more consistent?
I guess it just made it more consistent because I had more time in my hands. It was summer, and I would bike everywhere, so like that was really convenient. Biking around, from place to place, made it super easy. And I guess during like the fall, I got kind of cold, and at that point, I was like really lazy. I didn't want to take the trip to the gym, to the rack, and like during the summer, I would have summer classes. I would go to class, and then right after, I would go to the rec. I had that structure. That structure was there, which is kind of something that helps me out a lot because I'm very organized and I'm very structured. I like to have a set schedule, even though some people don't like to have set schedules. I'm kind of one of those people that enjoy that because it helps me out a lot.
Like you work I guess more efficient.
I work more efficient. Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever thought about maybe writing out your schedule and if you see it you'll do it kind of thing?
I would definitely enjoy that actually. Now you mention it. I did that my freshman year, and I never did it since. But definitely, I feel like that helps a lot. Kind of having that set schedule and having having like a good like visual representation of that is definitely something that I would enjoy, and I think that would be very beneficial for me in the long run.
Okay, so I guess just to kind of bring it all together, so you want to go ahead and change your physical fitness, whether it's your physical health, whether it's like your mental health, well-being, or your physical health. And I guess what I would recommend are some changes you can do, which you already seem like would be maybe cut down or cut back a little bit on video games, and also spend a little bit less time on your social media apps and stuff, and also write down a specific time when you're going to reach out to Michael and set up a time where you guys could both go ahead and work out at least once a week, because I feel like that would be very beneficial for you, and that would kind of get you in the mood or get you back to the way you were when you were on the track team, because you'll have somebody there that would push you. And then in terms of dieting or just your nutrition, I feel like you have a good grasp on that. It just seems like in those times where it's either very late in the day or you've been just focused on school all day, that where it becomes a little bit difficult. Maybe you can also talk to Michael then, or just ask him for pointers on seeing what he does on certain times like this, since you said that he's really physically fit himself. Is there anything else that you feel like that would help you change, help you towards your goal or your
towards my goal of I guess just living a healthier lifestyle? I would say maybe just prioritizing a little bit better, maybe prioritizing a little bit better, and having that set schedule. I feel like that is probably one of the key things that I should probably focus on. Like you said, maybe having a visual representation of a schedule would help me out. Also, maybe I guess having like those like 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 an hour like or two. You understand? Kind of like having like a set time for like how long I'm gonna work out. Because sometimes like my workouts go too long, and it's like, okay, well that's a little bit longer than I wanted to. Like in the summer, I would be able to work out for like 2 hours, whereas now I try to keep my workouts in like within an hour and a half, you know, or like an hour and 15 minutes, just because I want to have time to be able to come home and study and stuff. So
Okay.
maybe kind of timing myself at the gym, and like as soon as like an hour and a half passes by, it's all right. Well, I'm just gonna go home because that's my hour and a half or something.
Yeah, for sure. Well, it looks like from what you've told me so far this whole session that you kind of have a good idea of what you want to do and what you need to do in order to make this change. You haven't. I feel like nothing really else I can help you with. You have a good grasp on it. Do you have any other questions or concerns you want to ask me?
No.
Okay. Well, thanks a lot, and it was nice talking to you.
Thanks.